Hello, everybody. The 2020 Folio Awards will start in just a moment.
Hi, this is Jackie Clement, CEO and Executive Director of the Fair Media Council. On behalf of the Board of Directors, it's my pleasure to welcome you to the Folio Awards, honoring the best in news and social media as chosen by a media-savvy public. Before we begin the celebration, please allow me a few moments to tell you what the Folio Awards and FMC is all about. So what is it the public wants in its news? It's a complicated question with no singular answer. It's the subject of continuous debate in the best of newsrooms and inside living rooms across the country. It's also a subject at the forefront of the work of the Fair Media Council, where we seek to bridge the gap between the news consumer and the news media. The Fair Media Council is a one-of-a-kind organization with a mission to advocate for quality news and to work to create a media-savvy society. It's a mission recognized across the country, putting FMC inside one of the biggest issues the public faces on a daily basis. Today's media landscape is complicated, continuously changing along with technology. FMC's ability to anticipate these changes and design cutting-edge programming has made us the go-to organization for news and media issues. It takes media savvy to create world-class citizens. The Folio Awards program is a cornerstone in the Fair Media Council's work. The outcomes derived from this important program go straight to the heart of building better communities and influencing the news process to focus on quality in order to create an informed electorate. The process of this awards program gives our judges the tools to critique news stories, which in essence creates individual media watchdogs. This gives them the confidence to navigate the media landscape with ease and builds a relationship between the news consumer and the news media. We're proud to say the Folio program is something every community can benefit from. Today, Folio includes hyperlocal, regional, and national news, while the social media portion of the awards are open to all. All levels of the news ecosystem need to be strong. Look for new programs from the Fair Media Council to meet the challenges we face in light of the pandemic and the state of the media industry. The public forums you know well are being adapted to accommodate you virtually. The emphasis we place on open dialogue is what led us to create our new podcast, FMC Fast Chat.
FMC Fast Chat takes you inside the news so you can be in the know in 30 minutes. Hosted by Fair Media Council CEO and Executive Director Jackie Clement, Fast Chat features notables in news, media, and business.
Additional ways we come to you to keep all of us connected are continuously developing on the website at fairmediacouncil.org. We are an organization of organizations and individuals, and membership is what drives us forward. Please join the 110,000 and be part of our smart, savvy, and connected community. And now back to that original question. What does the public want in its news? For an answer, take a look at this story, which ranked among this year's highest scoring pieces.
part of our landscape. Signs that someone's getting paid to clean up what drivers toss out. But if these roads are sponsored, why are they so trashed?
It's disgusting. It definitely does not look like anybody's picking it up.
Absolutely not.
They're supposed to do it every 2 weeks.
Well, they're not doing it.
Every 2 weeks? That's what we discovered is how often Adopt a Highway Maintenance Corporation, a private California-based company, tells Nassau County it's picking up litter along its LIE service roads. The company's pitch to sponsors, they'll clean, quote, a minimum of 48 to 26 times per year.
That's impossible. I know the litter, and I can tell you that is not being done. I see the same pieces of garbage in the same spot for months at a time.
So did we for weeks, months. Could it be years?
Adam Haber hasn't run for state senate in years.
A campaign sign from 2016. No surprise to those who've lived for years steps from the service road and its sponsor signs.
I have never seen on a regular basis people out here picking up litter, ever.
Yet local businesses pay up to $700 every month, every mile. Adopt a Highway Maintenance Corporation collects and keeps the money. But what about the litter? We started tracking it, beginning last summer. A conspicuous chunk of trash left for months, steps from a Sponsor a Highway sign. In September, we marked it.
9/20/18.
And returned 4 months later.
This is what we saw back in September.
And began color tagging 15 miles of service roadway between Jericho and North Hills.
The contractors are supposed to come clean the LIE service road every 2 weeks. Let's see.
In January, we tagged pink.
A month later, it's now February, and we're back in all the same places and finding all the same garbage. Now we're into mid-March and no sign of a spring cleanup or all winter for that matter. And now in April, our tagged litter is still here and this dumping ground has only grown.
We unearthed this 2003 contract with Nassau County requiring every mile be cleaned every 2 weeks, even if it's not actively sponsored. It expired long ago, yet the company still sells segments. Who's now verifying the litter is regularly picked up? We asked current Nassau officials. Is Nassau County in any way monitoring this program?
We are absolutely reviewing the contract. And you also have to think about where the waste stream starts. It starts with people throwing crap out of their cars.
But you're not annoyed by the fact that a company's getting paid to clean it up?
Well, I take that very seriously, which is why we're going to review this.
These segments looked untouched in the very time frame bag counts and biweekly cleaning dates were submitted. Spreadsheets with landmarks such as Caldor that closed decades ago. The company shows spotless roads across the U.S., but on Long Island, we asked company president Pat Nelson what is going on, repeatedly asking for an interview, which she turned down. Instead, in emails, she stated they're an ethical organization, will continue to closely monitor the service road to meet their obligations, and refuted our findings, citing safety and weather challenges, especially in winter. Nassau officials concede oversight may have waned over the years in the transition between administrations.
DPW, which was tasked with managing the program, went through a series of retirements, but it is something that we are reviewing actively.
They should be monitoring it, and they should be checking it.
Are they?
No, not at all.
The mayor of East Hills, in his village and in his opinion,
I think it's a fraud. I have to send my own DPW guys out to clean up because I can't stand the filth, but they're not here. And if they tell you they are, they've never been seen.
The mayor of North Hills, in office 16 years.
Number one, I don't believe it. And I think, frankly, it can't be true. Because from what I've seen, rubbish accumulates for weeks and weeks and weeks at a time.
This is the piece of sheetrock that's been here since last summer.
We tag litter on roads outside Nassau's jurisdiction, too. State highways are supposed to be cleaned weekly or bi-weekly and be closely monitored by the Department of Transportation. Segments must be kept reasonably free from litter, including all on-off ramps. But our tagged litter sat in plain sight for more than 3 months. On ramps, we later learned in Adopt a Highway Maintenance Corporation segments. The majority leader of the Suffolk legislature.
Other parts of New York State, the highways are kept clean, and I've always wondered what's going on here.
That's what we asked the DOT if they're monitoring why is litter uncollected for months. A request for an interview denied. A spokesman's statement only addressed the obvious: littering's a problem.
If it snows, contractors may delay litter pickup until it all melts, but that's been a non-issue this year. Light cover for only 8 days.
Sponsors pay every month, whatever the weather.
Obviously, we're paying for a service. We'd like that service to be upheld.
And days after we shared our findings with the county and the company, suddenly a clean sweep.
Trying to make the world better.
An army of Adopt a Highway maintenance crews collecting, according to the company, 1,000 bags of litter.
Isn't that ironic or not really a coincidence at all?
Begging the question, does a program to clean up after drivers need a cleanup itself? Carolyn Gussoff, CBSN, New York.
And congratulations to Carolyn Gussoff and the team at CBS New York for this enterprising work of journalism. And to all of today's winners, congratulations and keep up the hard work. If this pandemic has shown us one thing, it's that we need your work to keep us connected and informed more than ever before. To Carol Silva, our Lifetime Achievement Awardee, thank you for all you have done for this community, the media industry, and for being the best of role models. To our presenters and speakers, thank you for taking this program and turning it into a truly special event. And to our sponsors, supporters, and members, thank you for making this program and the work of the Fair Media Council possible. And now it's time to hand the program over to one of the best in the business. Please welcome WABC TV's Ken Rosato.
Hi, everyone. Ken's going to join us shortly. I'm Diane Michelli, Vice President and General Manager of WLIW 21 and the new 88.3 WLIW FM. Of course, I wish we were all together personally celebrating as we usually do, but I'm thrilled to be here for this virtual Fair Media Awards, the Folio Awards. And I'm live from our new studios right here in the heart of the Hamptons. This is Studio 2, our radio studio, where we broadcast our news every day. And I'm going to give you a little walk around and show you some of our other facilities. We have a narration booth, of course, and this is Studio 1, where we broadcast many of our other programs live every day. Gianna Volpe, Heart of the East End host, is just finishing up her shift, and we are very thrilled to be here. Of course, it's been a very long, challenging months for all of us, and both personally, professionally, and we've all struggled and faced the challenges together and individually. And even though we've had so many things that have been difficult, there's lots to be thankful for. For WLIW, one of the things that we're thankful for is our new radio studios. Since our first broadcast in 1969, WLIW 21 has been serving residents of Long Island and the greater tri-state community by delivering quality arts, education, and news programming on air and online. And in March, despite the pandemic, we were fortunate to expand our reach and our presence on Long Island in the community with the acquisition of WPPB-FM, making WLIW the only destination for both public television and public radio on Long Island. A few months later in June, as I mentioned, we launched the new 88.3 as WLIW-FM, introduced a dynamic new program schedule, keeping local shows and hosts in place, and adding favorite national programs. The local offerings and talent, you just saw Gianna Volpe, continue to include Morning Edition, Long Island Local News with Michael Mackey, Heart of the East End with Gianna Volpe, The Afternoon Ramble with Brian Cosgrove, and urban jazz experience with Ed German, to name a few. Also in June, as I mentioned, we opened the doors to our street side, state-of-the-art studios and offices right here in the heart of Southampton. We're really excited about the addition of the radio station to the WLIW family. Now, public media on Long Island is truly multi-platform, and we're looking forward to creating deeper connections in the community through local programming, conversations, and engagement for which WLIW and public media are known. As we look to WLIW's future, on our television station, Channel 21, on our radio station at 88.3 FM, and on streaming platforms, and online at WLIW.org, we look forward to partnering and collaborating with many of you to continue to bring Long Island the great content and programming the community we all love deserves. And now, on to the awards. In business news, Long Island Business News is the winner. Moneyline, Long Island Gambling Venue, Eyes Expansion, David Winselberg. In consumer news, newspaper, Long Island Press is the winner. Water Worries, companies selling costly filters target Long Island, Claude Solnick. In the continuing news story, radio category, the winner, fatal stabbing of Oceanside teen, 1010 Wins and 1010wins.com, the 1010 Wins staff. In the real estate and development news category, the winner is Long Island Business News. Reading, Writing, and Arresting Development, David Winselberg. For community affairs newspapers, again, Long Island Business News. News at a Crossroads, Adina Gen. For environment television category, CBS News. Cigarette Butts Stamped Out, Carolyn Gussoff, reporter, Joe Garufi, photographer, editor. And in nonprofit news, PIX 11. Long Island Schools for Children with Disabilities hosts Veterans Day Parade. Keith Lopez, video journalists. Congratulations to all the winners and nominees, and an especially big congratulations as well to Lifetime Achievement Award winner, News 12 Long Island's Carol Silva. And I also want to thank Jackie Clement and the Fair Media Council for all of their support and the work that they do to keep journalism thriving. And now I'm going to toss it to my colleague, WNYW and WWOR Senior Vice President and General Manager, Lou Leone.
Yeah, thanks very much, Diane. And I enjoyed your tour, and congratulations on your street side studio out there in Southampton. It looks fantastic. I'm here at WNYW Fox 5 on the Upper East Side of Manhattan. Behind me, my wall of fame. Those are all pictures of previous Folio Awards. Well, just a few of them are. And what can I tell you about what's happening here? So we were hit hard by the pandemic at the beginning. Many positive COVID tests, and I can tell you it was not an exciting experience for several months. Getting people out of the building, working remotely, all while putting on 8 hours a day of live local news. So our team really came together, coalesced, and in terms of collaborating and innovating to keep us on the air and keep us going strong. I think what's going to be more difficult now is bringing people back. So we've started. We initially had all of our anchors anchoring from home, and now we've got all the anchors back, some reporters back. But I'm up here on my floor by myself, so there's no finance people, no sales people, just the news production team that we need to get us on the air here in the building. So we've started to contemplate going forward, bringing guests in, but that's still a ways off. We've gotten the station retrofitted in terms of plexiglass and touchless faucets, and just trying to get ready for when people do return. Manhattan was a ghost town for a long time. It's really started to come back on the upper west side, upper east side, lower east side. But I can tell you that Midtown is still a ghost town, And as an example, I had to go through the Lincoln Tunnel last week, and Waze took me down 7th Avenue, which typically is the slowest way to the Lincoln Tunnel. But it was the fastest way that day. And driving through an empty Times Square was somewhat eerie, somewhat depressing. But I do have hope for a return of New York City. I mean, you've read a lot about crime, which is true. I saw Carolyn Gusso's report about the garbage, reminded me of some of the garbage here in Manhattan, but hopefully those things will get better as well. But I would also like to add, I'm very proud of our team here at Fox 5 for continuing on and all the great work that they do. I'd also like to congratulate Jackie for, putting this event on against all odds. I know a lot of events have been canceled outright, and not everyone has been as innovative and has persevered as much as Jackie. So congratulations to you, Jackie. Congratulations to the award winners that we've heard from already. And now on to the awards that I'm going to present. So the Folio Award for the best talk show goes to WSHU Public Radio, The Full Story, 9/11 Victim Compensation Fund, Ron Ropiak, Ann Lopez, and J.D. Allen. The award for best newspaper goes to the Long Island Press, the November 2019 edition. Take me back to those days. Long Island Press staff. The next award for Consumer Issues Television goes to CBS New York. Glamping comes to Long Island. I thought that's the only thing that they did in Long Island was glamp. Carolyn Gussoff, reporter. Joe Garuffi, photographer. The Folio Award for Commentary goes to the Long Island Business News. Seeking Hope While Comprehending the Unimaginable. Joe Dowd. Congratulations. The award for Continuing News Story newspaper is for a series on Hempstead School District, Long Island Press. Timothy Bolger and Ellen Krawitz. The Folio for Public Policy Radio again goes to WSHU Public Radio. Disaster money favors the wealthy, but not on Horton Avenue. Charles Lane, reporter. Matthew Sherman, editor. The Folio for Public Policy Television goes to CBS New York. New York State takes on fight against Shinnecock Indian Nation's electronic billboards. Carolyn Gussoff, reporter, and Joe Garuffi, photographer. The Folio Award for Education, this is the Sean A. Finelli Award for television, goes to NBC New York. For Vaping Crisis Hits Suffolk Schools. Daisy Chang, Jeffrey Richardson, Christina Sola, and Evan Stolberger. The Folio for Continuing News by a student goes to Old Westbury Catalyst, SUNY Old Westbury, Remembering Sean Bell. Brianna Nibbs, managing editor. The Folio for Health Television goes to CBS New York. White Coat Ceremony held for NYU's first tuition-free medical program class. Jennifer McLogan, reporter. Alex Suskin, photographer. And finally, the Folio Award for History in Television goes to NBC New York. Long Island veteran fights for Purple Heart. Greg Sergel, John Lyles, and John Albertson. Again, I'd like to congratulate all of the winners. Special congratulations to Carol Silver for her Lifetime Achievement Award. And now it's my honor to turn it over to WSHU Public Radio News Director, Terry Sheridan.
Okay, thank you very much, Lou. I'm Terry Sheridan. I'm the news director here at WSHU Public Radio. We opened up our Long Island Bureau 4 years ago, and it's been staffed exclusively by Stony Brook University J School students like Carolyn Kluanowski behind me here under my direction. And earlier this year, we enhanced our relationship with Stony Brook, and now the Bureau is on campus and we are in the journalism school suite. So we're up and running technically. Because of the pandemic, some of the cosmetics is off, but not our work. And we've too have been slowly trying to get back to normal. We do have reporters out in the field when safe. When it's not safe, we still are working from home or a combination of working in the Bureau or at our station up in Connecticut. Now, part of WSHU's mission is to train the next generation of diverse multimedia journalists here at Stony Brook and at Sacred Heart University. And we've been able to continue our internship program throughout the spring, over the summer, and into the fall, which means we've been able to continue covering Long Island with both our professional staff and interns. Over the past 4 years, we've had 60 interns come through the program, and they've gone on to careers in public media, commercial broadcast, the New York Times, or they have received masters from Columbia J School or the Cronkite School at Arizona State University. We're proud to be a part of Long Island, and we will continue to cover Long Island in depth. And now on to the awards. We're taking a look at the Folio Awards for Social Media Award winners. And our first winner is for the Public Awareness Campaign, and it's Current Clips, New York Sea Grant, Paul C. Ficasio, Communications Manager, and Ryan Strother, Freelance Writer, Video Editor. Our next award is for Public Service Campaign, and that is for Breaking Bread at Long Island Cares, by Long Island Cares. Paul Pachter, Chief Executive, Kim Crawford, Digital Content and Marketing Manager. Our next award is for Best Use by Nonprofit, and it's hashtag HofGrad20 by Hofstra University. Melissa Connolly, Vice President, University Relations, Carla Schuster, Assistant Vice President, University Relations, Carly Weinstein, Executive Producer, Ginny Greenberg, Director of Public Relations, Nina Samuel, Associate Director of Public Relations, Deborah Cohen, Content Producer, and Colin Sullivan, Director of Communications. Our next award is for the Best Overall Social Media Campaign, and that is In and Around Queens campaign by St. John's University. Host, Kristen Gretto, Social Media Assistant, producer Sherelle Nicholson, social media manager, and editor Nick Perfato, video producer. The best use of Instagram is for Father's Day Reflections by GreaterMoriches.com. Carl Corey is executive editor, and Catherine Hoey, reporter. And our last award is for Health and Welfare Campaign podcast. New Perspectives on Pancreas Cancer by Northwell Health, David North, and Andre Dowdy, David North Media. I want to sincerely congratulate all of the winners and our Lifetime Achievement Award winner, Carol Civil. I'm happy to share all of your good news. Also, congratulations to Jackie for pulling this off and for all the work that you do year-round for all these years to make Long Island a better place to live. I'd now like to introduce NBC4 New York anchor Natalie Pasquarella with more awards.
Okay, great. You can hear me. Wonderful, Terry. Thank you so much for the warm welcome. I really appreciate it. As we know, the times we're in right now, I apologize ahead of time if you hear my 3-year-old or my 11-month-old. I am told they're going to be on their best behavior. On behalf of my friends and colleagues here at NBC4 New York, I'd like to extend our warmest welcome wishes to all of you. I'm Natalie Pasquarella. I proudly serve as the anchor of our 4 p.m., 6 p.m., and 11 p.m. editions of News 4 New York every weeknight on WNBC. I have been privileged to attend this wonderful event in person before. I look forward to doing it again. Again, Jackie, you have done a phenomenal job. So thank you for including me in this. Honored to work alongside so many superb journalists in our newsroom all across our great city, especially during these unbelievable times that we've been in. I've never felt that our jobs are more important than the here and now, right now. And again, a special recognition to Carol Silva. I was just on her Instagram. You are amazing. You are such an inspiration. If you need a smile, go to Carol's Instagram page. Wow, what a lady. So congratulations. Events such as the Folio Awards, so important to WNBC's focus on our community. Many of you have also supported, even participated in several other community events, joining with Island Harvest, Long Island Cares to fight hunger through our Feeding Our Families campaign, so important. Supporting local schools and students in need with United Way and the Boys and Girls Club. And of course, clearing our local animal shelters, finding forever homes for homeless pets in need, which has been such a source of comfort to so many families during this time. These efforts so important to all of us at WNBC about giving back, making a difference for our neighbors, because we're all part of this community. We all live here, work here, and raise our families here. So again, thank you so much for including me. I want to give a special shout out to a couple of our award winners, Greg Sergel, my colleague Greg Sergel, and Paisy Chang. So proud to work alongside them and all of our phenomenal photojournalists as well. All right, enough about this. Now I'm thrilled to say, let's go on to the awards. The winner of the Folio Award for Community Service Newspaper goes to Babylon Beacon for We Remember the Boys Who Went Off to War and Never Came Home. That's a big congrats to Jake Pellegrino, Kelly Mayberry, and Carolyn James. The winner of the Folio Award for Weather, Boating, and Coastal News goes to Pix 11 for Dangerous Waterways. Big congratulations to Keith Lopez, video journalist. The winner of the Folio Award for Community Service, Radio Student, goes to WRHU-FM, WRHU.org, Radio Hofstra University for Long Islanders support cancer patients through the Desi Strong Foundation. Congratulations to Sage Camosi, Adam Flash, and Julia Presti. The winner of the Folio Award for History Radio goes to WSHU Public Radio for Nikola Tesla Dreams of Electricity. A big congrats to Davis Donovan, reporter. On to our winner of the Folio Award for Science Radio podcast goes to Northwell Health, A Life's Pursuit Restoring Life After Temporary Death. Congratulations to David North and Andre Dowdy of David North Media. And next up, the winner of the Folio Award for Housing Television goes to CBS New York for Nassau County Tackles Housing Discrimination. Congratulations to Jennifer McLogan, reporter, and Ken Gordon, photographer. And last but not least here, the winner of the Folio Award for Feature Newspaper goes to Long Island Business News for the Mooch Dishes. Congratulations to Adina Gann. And again, another big congratulations, and please accept all of our fondest wishes to Carol Silva. Again, you are just amazing and such an inspiration. Thank you all for letting me join you today. The kids were quiet. That's a plus, right? To all you moms and dads out there. So thank you again for letting me be a part of the big day.
Natalie, thank you. Let me introduce myself. I'm Tim Sheld from WCBS, and welcome. Sorry about my camera there. I'm a radio guy getting into this Zoom world. Welcome to Studio 11B here in the Hudson Square Broadcast Center. You can see perhaps some work going on in the WCBS newsroom in the background, and perhaps you can see no work going on in the office building right next to us down here on Hudson Street. I am the news and program director at WCBS, and I really want to send a shout out to Jackie and the entire staff at the Fair Media Council, those on the board for supporting local journalism in this urgently important time. We have had one hell of a year, and I am so proud of what all of our organizations have done to support news storytelling in what is one of the most important times. So thank you to all. We have a much smaller footprint of people working in the newsroom these days, as Lou made reference to, We had to clear out the newsroom pretty quickly a couple of months ago, and we're really proud of the technical folks that made it happen so seamlessly. And I knock on wood if I could find it, but they don't make these places out of wood, so I can't find it here. We really are proud of what our staffs have done. We have a smaller footprint. Most of the work being done on the news side is actually being done outside the studios these days, although we do have our news anchors on the air next door.
Porcello on Sunday.
We're doing sports on the air right now.
Yes,
that's Brad Heller, and he's remote, but Paul Murnane is actually Paul's remote as well. Amazing times we've had. So just a congratulations to everyone in every organization for what has been an incredible community service, keeping us all together, and please keep up the good work because we really need it. This is not over by a long shot. Take care of your own mental health, take care of your own health, keep covering those stories, racial justice or economic recovery. We need it in the coming year or years. Wherever you find yourself, stay safe. Now on to the awards that I am honored to hand out today. Congratulations to the following Folio Award winners. In the category of Community Affairs Television, the winner is WNET, Metro Focus, Fair Housing Fight. Raphael P. Ramon is the host. Diane Michelli is executive producer. Christina Timothy, Dominic Camilla, Eduardo Gerardo, Michaela Pascal, all contributing. In the category of education, student category, the winner is the Old Westbury Catalyst, SUNY Old Westbury, the mold protest story. Brianna Nibbs, managing editor, congratulations. In health reporting, the radio winner is WRHU-FM, Radio Hofstra. Well Said, ovarian cancer, Dr. Ira Nash, Adrian Stoller, and my friend John Mullen, the engineer and editor. In housing, the radio category, the winner is WRHU-FM and WRHU.org, Radio Hofstra. Well Said again, housing and health, this was the episode. Dr. Ira Nash, Adrian Stoller, and John Mullen. In non-profit reporting, the winner is CBS New York, CBSN. The story is Oh My Goodness, Lindenhurst Cafe. Carolyn Gussoff is the reporter, and Joe Garufi is the editor and photographer. The winner in election coverage, Massapequa Post wins for the story about incumbent Rose Walker squares off against Alan Foley. Jake Pellegrino is the reporter. In the enterprise category in students coverage, Hofstra Chronicle from Hofstra University wins their story, The Sigma Alpha Mu placed on interim suspension following hazing allegations. Taylor Rose Clark is the editor-in-chief. Congratulations to all of the winners. And as has said prior to me, special congratulations to Carol Silva and just a terrific post that I saw from her this week on her own personal story. We were thrilled to see that, and she is the epitome of class. We miss her, but we know she's out there because we see her voice being heard in social corners. So congratulations to her, and it's my honor to pass the program on to another Lifetime Achievement Award honoree himself at one point, and another class act, my friend Ernie Anastas.
Can you hear me now? Let's make sure that we're on. Hi, everybody. So nice to have you here today. Tim Schell, it's an honor to be with you. You're such a great guy. I love the station. You know, I know so many of the people there. It's a terrific organization, and congratulations to you. And Jackie, I want to thank you very much for asking me to be here today. This is so much fun. I have been there before. I've been there live and in person. Not virtual like this, and have been honored by the Folio Awards, and I appreciate that. But you have done such a great job. I'm going to applaud you right now. I mean, I know that we don't have an audience in here, but I'm going to applaud you because you are so special. And Natalie mentioned about your tweets and what you put on Instagram, very positive, and you know I'm big on that. So I thank you very much for what you do. Okay, let me just talk a little bit about a few things. First of all, many of you might know that I'm sort of on a news break, and I'm at Harvard Business School. I'm really enjoying a number of courses that I'm taking in leadership principles and management skills. I love it. I think what's important here is to always be challenged and to be learning something new and to be growing. And I'm preparing for my next chapter in media in New York City, and I'm looking forward to that sometime late next year. But right now I'm enjoying this thing. Even though it's virtual classes, we're not on campus right now, but I'm having a great time and I'm learning to grow. And I think that that's so important for all of us to remember. Grow, be challenged by everything. I remember going to the Botanical Garden in New York once, and there was a sign on the wall and it said, "The only sign of life is growth." That's true, whether it's a plant and whether it's a human being. We have to be growing and to be developing ourselves and turning ourselves into what we think we really need to do in this life to accomplish our mission. Okay, I want to really be very serious about what we're doing right now. And that is we're giving awards to people who have been really working very hard. I respect that. I've worked 4 decades in New York City at ABC 7, CBS 2, and certainly Fox 5. And I've seen the kind of work that my colleagues are doing. And especially now during this whole COVID pandemic, this is a very difficult time. And it's a responsibility that we all have to be able to get out there and do our jobs. And I'm seeing that. I'm watching. I'm at home being able to watch from a different perspective now and the kind of work that you're doing. And I congratulate everyone. I congratulate the people who are the honorees today. And particularly, I want to say something very nice about Carol Silva. Carol and I have met, we've talked. You know, she is a very, very special human being. I think what's important about Carol is that she's covered so many stories over 3 decades, but it's her professional style, it's her mannerism, it's her fabric, her human fabric, because Carol has sensitivity. She is concerned about facts. She is concerned about the truth. Truth, so important. And she cares about people. You know, many times reporting news on the air, you know, it looks like it's a bunch of statistics, you know, just hard, cold facts about stories that we're reporting. But it's more than that. We know that. We're talking about human beings. We're talking about people who have souls and hearts and feelings and emotions, people who are involved with their families and their work and their community. These are the kinds of stories that we have to report on. And Carol, you've been doing that, as well as our colleagues going out there. I'm so happy to congratulate you for your award and your human compassion. That's the key. Going out there and knowing that we're talking about real people. An illustrious career, we congratulate you, and you definitely, in my opinion, are a role model for so many people. I congratulate you, okay? Back for a moment to doing our job, getting out there into the community, letting people know, you know, where we live, what's going on in the backyard, what's happening here, what's going on. I remember years ago, I was talking to Walter Cronkite, who was a mentor of mine when I was at CBS. He was a wonderful human being. And I remember Walter one time said to me, you know, Ernie, he said, you know, in his style, Ernie, he said, you know, we are playing the role of being a watchdog, a watchdog. We're not an attack dog and we're not a lap dog. We're a watchdog. What we do is we bark. We let people know what's going on, and then we want them to take action, for those people to respond to what's going on. And that is our role. We're the conduit. We're the ones that go out there and tell people what's going on. The truth, the facts, the fairness. It brings me to one last thing, and I'm a strong believer in core values, basic core values. What am I talking about? Courage, kindness, integrity, patience, self-giving, gratitude, and compassion, honesty, and a lot more. Core values. We have to promote that. We have to make sure that we reward good behavior. When people are doing good things, let's talk about that. Let's bark. Let people know what's happening out there. This is part of our job, okay? To encourage more positive stories on the air. Of course, we're going to report the news. Of course, we're not going to alter it in any way. We would never go for that. We defend the right of First Amendment. We know that, freedom of speech. That's crucial. But at the same time, we have to make sure that we are careful about our sources, careful about what we put on the air, particularly in this time. Let's deal with the truth. Let's deal with honesty, and let's make sure that people know what's going on out there. We can all make a difference in more ways than one. You don't realize that. You can make a difference. I want you to go out there and do something good. There's another quotation that I really like. Don't go where the path may lead. Go where there's no path. and leave a trail. That's what we do in our life. That's what we do in our career as journalists. So congratulations once again to all of the honorees. Congratulations to my dear friend Carol. Good luck to everyone. Be safe and be happy always, okay? Now it's time for me to turn the program over to a wonderful gentleman. He is the owner of Newsday, Pat Dolan. And Pat's going to be talking right now about how Long Island's most popular newspaper is recreating itself. I like that, recreating itself, growing. That's what we're talking about, okay? Pat, I'm going to turn it over to you. Here you go.
Hi, Newsday's owner Pat Dolan, coming to you from our new state-of-the-art TV studio in our building here in Melville. Over the next couple of months, you will see a lot of this place as we gear up to create a ton of exciting video based on the work of Newsday's award-winning journalists. Breaking news, investigative reports, food, lifestyle, music, health. All of this for and about Long Islanders using our own talent and top-rung video technology. And all available on our digital sites using your mobile device, desktop, or TV. It's a bold next step to Newsday's future. But as much fun as it is for me to talk about this, I'm not here to brag about Newsday. I'm here to brag about a former colleague and a legend in Long Island news. She's been called a force of nature, which she definitely is. But the essence of Carol is that she truly is what she appears to be. For more than 30 years, Long Island woke up with News 12's Carol Silva every day. She's your chatty next-door neighbor who knows everyone on the block, is full of stories, comes over with a tray of cookies, mom of 3, soccer coach, Girl Scout leader, volunteer, community cheerleader, and best friend to more people than anyone can count. They say nature abhors a vacuum. Well, that law definitely applies anytime you're with Carol. I have never known there to be a lapse in the conversation when Carol is in the room. So add to that package the fact that she is a brilliant reporter and storyteller. I could go on through the extensive list of all her honors, but let's say she knows how to dig into the heart and soul of a story, whether it's about a Long Island personality, a major issue, or maybe a family struggling to get help for a challenged child. And not surprisingly, Carol is a legendary ad-libber. At News 12, the joke was that when there was breaking news of some sort, all we had to do is get some pictures from the live truck or the chopper, sit Carol at the anchor desk, and tell her to go. Bingo, continuous coverage, no script. But I think the key to Carol's amazing success is that she is who she is. People are just comfortable with her. They feel that they know her, and they do, considering that many Long Islanders have spent almost as much time with her than they have with their own families. We were all so thrilled when Carol announced she won the most important struggle of her life, her battle with cancer. But if you know Carol, it was no surprise. She loves her life and her work far too much to let anything get in the way. So Carol, another day, another epic honor. Collecting Lifetime Achievement Awards has become a hobby for you of sorts, but no one deserves them more. Congratulations, and thank you for all you have done for Long Island and for all of us in the news profession.
Thanks, Pat. Now let's turn the program over to News 12 in Long Island's Elizabeth Hashhagen.
There we go. Hi. It's so nice to see so many friends say so many beautiful things about my best friend. I want to let you all in on a little secret to success, to happiness, to a positive life. I've found it. It's WWCD. What would Carol do? WWCD is in our group text messages at work. It's on my mind when I have a problem. It's our go-to when we try to think of what's next, when we try to decide what's right. And the reason for that is Carol is our Polaris, our North Star, our constant in an ever-changing world. But I'm not putting Carol up on a pedestal. She's on top of a mountain, and she climbed there during every snowstorm and presidential press conference. She climbed there in our darkest days and during our finest hours, because no matter what the world threw at her, she leaned into it. She excelled in the pressure with class and with heart. On the most stressful days, she was the calming voice, not only to our viewers, but to our team. She didn't just blaze a path for female journalists to follow. She grabbed our hands and helped us on our journey. She lives the idea that we rise by lifting others. Carol is the quintessential anchor. She's chartered our course through complex times with compassion and with grace. I've watched as Carol mentored writers, producers, reporters, and anchors, myself included, not just copy editing scripts and then moving on to the next thing on her massive to-do list for that day, but she always stops and discusses why she did what she did, taking the time to impart her wisdom with kindness, inspiring all of us to make sure that we not only got it right, but we remembered why people care. Her warmth and her knowledge were always a part of her storytelling. She knows how to make a connection and cut through all of the useless information to find what matters most, to get it right, because facts matter, the words that we choose matter, and our communities matter. Each weekday morning, I walk into the Carol Silva studio at News 12. On the day of her retirement, the station dedicated our studio to Carol and put up a beautiful plaque. But for the 16 years that we were partners, I also walked into the Carol Silva studio with no plaque, because Carol made that room what it is. Carol helped to create a family and made sure that we were always committed to each other and to our mission, to our viewers, to getting the story right. She gives the best life advice. After teaching pre-Cana and being a Girl Scout leader and a soccer coach, she listens and she gives perspective. Because of her, I know I'm a better anchor, I'm a better friend, I'm a better wife, and I'm a better mom. Carol is an inspiration. Her integrity and commitment are the inspiration for all of us to do our very best every day, to encourage those who need it, to take time to listen, to be supportive. WWCD may have just started as a joke with our morning team, but now it is the measure we use between right and wrong. It's holding yourself up to the highest standard and remembering to be bold, to be strong, and to get it right. I consider myself blessed to have shared the anchor desk with a true legend, to see warmth and wisdom in action. And I know that her legacy is in action in newsrooms all over today, not just ours, but in all of those who have been inspired to be their best because they learned from the best. It is my honor now to introduce my best friend, Carol Silva.
Do you see me? Do you hear me? Hello, hello. I'm reaching for my phone. Okay, I am live. I'm not seeing it there. I'm seeing that it is Elizabeth, but thank you so much, Elizabeth. Oh, my best work buddy, my work wife, my partner for all those years. And Pat Dolan, you said the nicest things. The nicest things. I wish I had that script when I went in for one of my salary reviews for you. Nonetheless, thank you all. Thank you all so very much. I can't tell you how much this means to me. What a year, right? What a crazy year. I mean, this year, this is the year in which I graduated from getting up at 2:15 in the morning. That part was rough, but I also graduated from sitting next to Elizabeth every morning and sharing coffee, waiting for it to arrive, and not just talking about the life of Long Island, but talking about our lives. And I think that's what makes News 12 so good, because as we say, we know it, we live here, we do it, we live the same life as all the rest of you. By the way, that little cancer thing, that thing is over. As you heard in the past week, I am cancer free. And so I see it this way. The score is cancer 0, Carol 1. And you can spell that O-N-E or W-O-N. So this is not my first Lifetime Achievement Award. I have to tell you that I was given one about 22 years ago, halfway through my 44-year career. Remember, I was in radio first. But at that time, it didn't seem real. I mean, I felt like I was just a kid. I had 2 small children at the time. Now, this is a lifetime achievement, and so I accept, and I thank you. My first job came in 1975. I was in college at New York Institute of Technology, but as a public relations major. There weren't a lot of job opportunities for women in television and radio. I didn't even think about that, in fact. I was a PR major, and my required course, Radio 101 Production, mandated that I do a 15-minute radio show. You had to engineer the board, you had to write, produce, and deliver a 5-minute newscast. Well, I guess I did a good enough job because my professor, Neil Martin, was also a DJ at WBAB, the rock station in Babylon. He brought that project with him and told the management, I found our next news anchor. So I learned a lesson from that. And the lesson is mentor. You heard Elizabeth talk about it. Mentor, and don't worry about somebody else taking your job, because in fact, all you have to do is keep working harder and getting better, and nobody will ever take your job for you. I graduated from college in 1976, and the speaker at my graduation was Bella Abzug. She was the congresswoman from New York. You might remember she wore the outrageous hats, and she kind of had this outrageous personality. And she was one of 15 women in the House of Representatives. 535 people in the House of Representatives to represent America, the citizens, the concerns. 520 were men, 15 were women. As I said, in the 1970s, there were not that many opportunities for women. When I graduated in 1976, it was a time that I got lucky, though. I got one of those rarefied jobs. I had already been working at WBAB, and I started to apply to a more news-oriented station, WGBB in Merrick. You might remember the Pet Patrol. If you ever lost a pet, that was us. We helped you find it. I met the news director, Ed Grilly, and Ed told me, I listened to the tape that you sent me, and if I had a job for you, I would hire you today. Well, that to me was go. So every 6 weeks, I would send him some kind of an updated story. This is what I'm up to. And finally, in October of 1976, Ed hired me. He said so that I would stop calling him. But he also told me very recently, it's one of the smartest things that he ever did. Well, when I was hired at WGBB, here's how the score evened up in the newsroom. 1 woman, me, and 7 men. As I said, that's the way the world was. So there were some imbalances in, I would say, the scales of justice and opportunity for women. But I'm not talking ancient history. There was a time at one place that I worked where I challenged a new pay structure. I asked my boss, well, why aren't I being paid on the same scale as the men who are doing the same thing? And the answer I got was, well, the men have families. Of course you're not going to be paid the same. It was a fight that I fought, and a fight that I lost at that point, but guess what? Who's the winner now? I worked really hard, lesson learned. I ended up making probably more than some of those men, and I've had such a fulfilling career. I also learned that you can't always control what happens to you, but you can control how you react, and it was work, work, and more work. By the way, that part of my life is just one of the reasons that I really think that we have to salute notorious RGB, Ruth Bader, or RBG, I should say, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She was amazing. She fought for gender equality. And eventually, I got paid more, so don't you worry about it. The 1970s, one of the nastiest battles that we had on Long Island was over the Shoreham nuclear power plant. And I remember standing on the big concrete circle, the walkway around the top. of the big tube looking down into the pool that only weeks later would accept those radioactive rods, and that's what actually activated the Shoreham nuclear power plant. Well, I was with a PR woman, June Bruce, and I said to her, this is a rough job. People don't like the project. People don't like you. How do you endure? And she said, it's better than my last job. I was a speechwriter for Richard Nixon. Lesson learned there, things could always be worse. And boy, they were for her. I have a letter that I just love that I have to show you. This is one of my most valuable possessions, and it's still in its old, broken, lucite frame. It is my first 1983 rejection letter from Cablevision. And it says, thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to audition for Cablevision's new show. We have made our choices, and although you were not selected, I never read beyond that. But this has hung on the wall of every office that I've had in the business since then. Lesson learned, don't quit. And I hang this up to remind me that you can just keep going. Another of my teachers taught me that lesson this way, that no is just the first round of negotiations. And you may know that teacher. She was my high school swim coach. She's also known as Pat Milton. Pat is the senior producer of the CBS News Investigative Unit and the co-producer of 60 Minutes. Thanks, Coach. I love you. I've had unforgettable moments in this business. I mean, haven't we all? But don't forget them. Write them down. Really keep a journal for yourself. The 1980 Democratic National Convention, Madison Square Garden, I waited until everybody left the garden and I was the last person to interview Walter Cronkite as he covered his last convention. He walked out of that elevated booth that CBS had built, and I asked him, what is this like? And he said, it's history. And then he walked away. And it was his history and the history of our nation. 1988, the Republican National Convention in New Orleans. What I learned there, New Orleans is a party town. I also learned how to report better from the field. 1988, on election night, I was in Houston with George H.W. Bush, and I watched him the night that he was elected president of the United States. And I spoke to his son, Jeb, interviewed him, and asked him what his political dreams were. And he said, I only want to be the son of the president of the United States. I said, not the president? He said, no, and I guess he was right. I've slept in studios when there was bad weather, when there were blizzards, when at 2 o'clock in the morning, I'd be chipping the ice off my car to drive to work to tell everybody else, hey, stay home. I slept in the studio during Sandy. We slept in Elizabeth's office, Elisa DiStefano, Elizabeth, and myself, and what a sisterhood that is. I was part of the first all-female anchor team in New York, myself and Lee Tyrell. And 33 years later, I wrapped it up on that anchor desk with my buddy, my female cohort in trouble and in great times with Elizabeth. During all of this, a couple of things that I learned more. 20, 30, and 44 years from now, people at work are not going to remember what you said to them probably, but they will always remember how you said it to them. I'm blessed with my work to learn that I've had the opportunity to meet so many people, meet people I never would have had a chance to meet, go into places that I never would have had the opportunity to go into. My News 12 family is still the family that I choose. I love everybody, great and small. And I also have learned that everybody has a story. And our responsibility as journalists is to, especially these days, take the extra minute, breathe. You know, being first is great, but being inaccurate is not great. It's wrong. Breathe and really listen to the people. Let them tell their story. It's a big responsibility we have these days. Like so many of you, I have been blessed, blessed, blessed. By the way, what's next? I've said it during the past couple of months. I'm going to grow my soul so I can do more good for more people. That's what I have on my agenda. If you have any better ideas, by all means, you're a bunch of smart people, so let me know. By the way, I also do play golf, and I have a golf lesson scheduled for today. So I'm going to wrap this up right now, except to say, thank you, thank you, thank you for being there with me in the courtrooms and at those board meetings and every place else where we've tried to tell the story of Long Island. And really, thank you for being a part of my story.
Thank you, Carol. And to all of our presenters, I want to say thank you so much for making this such a special event for us. Carol, you are so deserving of this award. And, you know, if there's one thing that we should also make sure we celebrate today is your triumph over cancer. You bring a new meaning to the definition of Lifetime Achievement Award, and we are so blessed to know you. To everyone who's taken part in this program, I appreciate all your accolades, but the reality is it's not about me. We're surrounded by talented, incredible people, and we wouldn't be able to do this without you. Our program, it's full of pros. So if we make it look easy, it's because you're the best at what you do. We did have a little bit of a tech issue at the beginning of the program, but we're going to circle back. We do have Ken Rosado standing by to do his part. So we're going to go to Ken, and then if you notice in your chat box, you will have received a link. After Ken presents, click on that link and we'll go into the winner's circle, which is our networking opportunity so that we can all chat with each other. Thank you so much for all that you've done. And Ken, are you queued up and ready to go? Yes? No? Maybe? Okay, nope, we can't do that. So we're going to continue. And Jenna, if you can please show those judges slides, because as I mentioned before, we couldn't do this program without an incredible array of people that made it possible. So we want to make sure you get a look at the judges who took part in this program in order to choose the stories that you see that were award presenters throughout today. An incredible array of community and business leaders that take part every year. They volunteer the time. They come in enthusiastic, willing to sit down, to judge, to tear apart news stories, and actually learn what it means to be an educated news consumer and critical viewer and watcher of the news. So to be able to score high from these folks is truly an honor. And I am actually going to close out the program by announcing the winners who earned the highest scores from the judges. So to that end, at the beginning of the program, you did see the video. In the category of watchdog news, CBS New York takes the Folio for Littered Landscape, Carolyn Gusoff, Joe Garufi, and Scott Newton. In the category of environment radio, WSHU Public Radio, for a story, The Long Island Pine Barrens, Taylor Beglin, Desiree Diorio, and Margaret Osborne, reporters. In the category of youth issues, the Folio goes to Pixie Levin for a story on the Grim Reaper. Congratulations, Keith Lopez, video journalist. In the category of history, newspaper, Newsday, John Hands wins for Jones Beach Heirloom. Home movie of FDR, Robert Moses adds to state park history. In the category of animal welfare, CBS New York wins for Local Herald Saves Newborn Fawn. Jennifer McLogan, reporter, Frank Mastry, photographer and editor. In the category of science, it's CBS and New York that takes the Folio For robot classmate keeping Long Island teen fighting cancer in touch at school. Jennifer McLogan and Frank Mastry, again, congratulations. And the final, Folio of the Day, is a feature in the television category. Again, CBS New York. Long Island boy with cerebral palsy pulls off Play of the Year on the gridiron. Jennifer McLogan and Frank Mastry, congratulations. You can see all of the winning pieces in their entirety on our website at fairmediacouncil.org. Now to close out the show, please go into that chat box, click the link to take you into the winner's circle. Thank you for all of your support. We look forward to working with you throughout the year, and we know great things are ahead. Thank you.